Welcome back to Ulzzangmas and my 25 days of uploads. In today's video, we're going to be doing a full face of MOIRA Cosmetics. I have been wanting to do this for you guys for so long. I finally made like a huge order. We have pretty much a full face here. The only thing that I didn't get is an eyeshadow palette. I didn't get a lippy, and I also didn't get a mascara. This is not the first time that I have used MOIRA Cosmetics. I have used them before. So I'm going to be using an eyeshadow palette that I used when I did that order. There just wasn't anything on the website as far as the palettes that was really standing out to me, so I didn't get that part. As far as mascara, I have 10,000 mascaras. I do not need another one. And when it comes to the lip products, earlier in the springtime, maybe going into the summer when MOIRA launched their signature lipsticks, I ordered 4 of those. They were like $4 each, and then the rest of their lip products were on sale, so I ordered a bunch of those too. I just wanted to try out the different formulas. I only ended up keeping one. The signature lipsticks I gave to my daughter because those are more of a balms, and the other formulas I just didn't really like, so I didn't end up keeping them, so there was no reason for me to like try out any more of the lip products. As far as everything else though, we have a full face, and let's go ahead and jump in because this may be a long one. Grab a snack, grab something to drink, let's have some fun. The first thing that we are going to do is primer, and I did get 2. If you've been keeping up with my declutters, then you know I got rid of everything that was like dewy, glowy, hydrating formulas like that because they just don't work for me. I have oily skin. I also have like enlarged pores, so I need like pore minimizing matte finishes, and I wanted to try more formulations like those. So I picked up the Complete Pore Vanishing Primer and the Complete Mattifying Primer. The Pore Vanishing Primer is supposed to do what all pore vanishing primers are supposed to do. It's supposed to help, fill in the pores, give you a smoother base. This is alcohol-free, paraben-free, 100% vegan and oil-free. And then the matte one, of course, is supposed to mattify the skin. It's supposed to help control oily skin, combination skin, things like that. Also help to extend the wear of your makeup. This one is also paraben-free, alcohol-free, 100% vegan, and silicone-free. So what I'm going to do, because I am going to use both, I am someone that layers my primer. Sometimes I have put on as many as 4 primers. I know people may think I'm crazy, but I have enlarged pores. I do have some scarring, like in the sides in here, sides of my mouth, a little bit, on my forehead, because I used to have really bad acne breakouts. And so I find that layering my primers is what helps me to get the smoothest base. The first one that I'm going to apply is the mattifying primer. I'm going to apply this all over and then just add a little bit of extra in, my T-zone where I get the oiliest. I was already planning on doing a full face of MOIRA, but then I watched my girl Gigi Loves Beauty, and she did a live trying on a bunch of products and just got me more and more excited. So that's one of the reasons why I went ahead and did my order. But I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to start applying it all over the skin. Definitely does not feel silicone-y at all. A lot of primers have a silicone finish, even if it says it's mattifying. Ooh, I can already tell. It is mattifying. It's also blurring a little bit. Do you see that? Ooh, y'all, it is starting to storm its butt off outside. It is so dark. Like, it literally got pitch black outside. It stormed so bad last night that it literally sounded like there was a gunfight at the OK Corral because it was thundering so loudly. It was amazing. I was surprised that my youngest didn't come running in the room because usually whenever there are storms and loud thunder, he doesn't like it. But surprisingly, he didn't come in here. Already, my skin is super mattified. It is blurred. Ooh, nice. So far, so good. Now let's try our pore minimizer. And I'm just going to put this in my pore area, maybe like a little bit on my forehead as well. The actual color looks the same as the mattifying. This one does have more of that kind of a silicone slippy kind of a feel. Feels really nice though. It feels really smooth. I have a couple of little scars right here in between my eyes, and I like to put a little bit of primer there. It kind of helps fill everything in and smooth it out a little bit. I wouldn't say that my pores have like completely vanished or anything, but the skin definitely does look smoother, and it does look blurred, and it does feel matte. So if you're somebody who has more like normal to dry skin, both of these formulas, either one of them may be a little bit too drying for you, but for me, being an oily skin girl, so far so good. Moving into foundation, we have the Complete Wear Super Matte Foundation, lightweight, pore blurring, reduces shine. And you guys will be happy to know I actually did pick the right shade this time. It's 700W. The running joke in this channel is that I have always had a difficult time picking the right foundations, either too light or too dark, but this one, I actually tested it when I got it. actually looks pretty good. You get the standard 1 ounce of foundation. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to take my total face sponge and I'm just going to put a couple of pumps on the sponge, which is how I like to apply my foundation. I really do like this bottle. It's glass. It feels very luxe, but I think I only paid like $6 for it. As you can see, that does look like a good shade match, and it is. Woo! Happy about that. Yes, for a shade matching online, I'm sure many of you guys know it is so freaking difficult. But I think this looks pretty good. It's slightly deep, but like with concealer and all that, and especially going into the summer, this is going to be perfect. If I gotten this any lighter, it would have been too light. So far, the finish is looking really nice. I was checking to see what the coverage level was supposed to be. It just says complete, where it doesn't say light, medium, full coverage or anything like that. But just based on my application, I'd say it's a medium to full coverage. I'm going to add just a little bit just to see if it's buildable in some areas, like my chin and on my cheeks. And it is definitely buildable as well. All right, so far, so good. For concealer, we got the Lavish Creamy Concealer, and I got the shade 250 Affogato, I think the name of the shade is. They had like, I think, 2 or 3 different formulas. Before we move on to the actual concealer application, I did want to read a couple more facts that I'm seeing on the side of the box about the foundation. It's up to 12 hours of wear. Water resistant, I'm not going to test that. Soft matte finish, dermatologist tested, fragrance free, 100% vegan. Very nice. Blurring effect, controls oil. It's definitely matte, not super matte. I would say a soft matte finish. My skin is matte. If you have dry skin, this is not for you, but it's not super dry. Like I don't feel like my skin is just, going to crackly and crepey throughout the day. It looks really good so far. For the concealer, what does it say? Lightweight, long-lasting, medium to full coverage, cruelty-free. I don't know. I'm guessing this is vegan too. Yeah, this is also 100% vegan. Nice little doe foot applicator. I get really dark in this area and here. Let's see how well it covers. The shade is pretty good. It's not too dark, or too light rather. So it's going to be nice and brightening. Start blending it out. I'm going to let the concealer sit under my eyes for just a moment. I do find that if you let concealer sit for about 30 seconds, it does help to give you a little bit more coverage. Going back in with my e.l.f. sponge, I'm just going to start tapping it out. It does feel pretty creamy and it is blending out pretty well. I am getting a decent amount of coverage in that area. It's definitely brightening. The coverage is actually pretty good, but I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit right here. Blend that out. So far, between the primers and the foundation and the concealer, my skin is looking so good. This foundation looks like skin. Like I don't look like I have foundation on my face. I am super impressed so far. Now to set everything down, and we're just going to be using the MOIRA Loose Setting Powder. This is in translucent, shade number 1, talc-free smooth matte finish. I love the very clean aesthetic of this packaging. Vitamin E collagen talc free. All right, let's pop this baby open and apply it. Ooh, there's a little plastic cover in the inside. I was trying to figure out how you get the powder out. There's a plastic cover, a little, plastic, film. Let's take that off. A little ASMR. And then the powder is in there. The only thing that I don't like is it's one of those containers where you have the lid where it's raised. I like to put my powder inside the lid and then apply it that way using my sponge. When the packaging is this way, I can't do that. So this is what I'm going to do. I just grabbed one of the empty powders out of my empties bin, and I'm just going to take the powder and just put it in here. Now I'm going to take my sponge and I'm just going to dip it in and just start applying. To me, for my skin, using a sponge is just the easiest and best application for applying loose powder. I've tried using brushes and they don't work for me. When I use brushes, it just moves everything around and it just doesn't set everything in the way I like to. I like to press it into the skin, and this powder is beautiful. Oh my word. I almost got the loose one. I think it was, I cannot remember, the water resistant loose pressed powder, not loose powder, pressed powder. That was one of the ones that Gigi used in her video, but I knew that it wasn't something that I was going to use very often, so I just went ahead and, pulled that one out of my cart. I am a loose powder girl, so anything that's pressed, it's really not going to get used. My skin, you guys. Woo, this looks so pretty. All these products are working together so well. I just realized I didn't do the cream bronzer, but that's fine. We can do that over the powder. Usually I like to set the under eyes, but they're looking so good right now by themselves that I'm just going to leave them the way they are. I'm not going to worry about setting in that area. So far, you guys, all the complexion products have been a win. I am just super impressed with everything so far. Before we move into the cream bronzer, let's do our brows first. This is shade 09 Espresso, and it's just the Precision Brow Pencil 1.5 millimeter diameter ultra slim brow. And ultra slim brows are the type of pencils that I like. I like the micro brows. I am not a wax, brow soap, gel, none of that kind of girl. I like a simple pencil. And I'm going to take this spoolie, just kind of brush everything up. And then let's start applying the pencil. So have any of you guys tried Moira Cosmetics? If you have, what have been some of your favorite products? Before this video, the blushes were definitely some of my favorites. They are so stunning. And you guys, ooh, this pencil is filling in so nicely and it looks so natural. The shade itself is like a perfect match for me. And then the actual pencil itself is giving such natural strokes. My word. I'm going to finish filling this in off camera and then we'll come back and we'll move on to our bronzer. Let me tell you guys what just happened. So I got halfway through my eye look, went to turn off my camera because I realized I needed to run downstairs for a minute. And when I went to actually stop the camera, the screen goes off, which is what happens when you are not recording. So I go back and check the footage and realize I'd only recorded up until the brows. So everything after the brows, and mind you, I had done bronzer, blush, highlighter, setting spray, and was halfway through an eye look. None of that had recorded. And I debated about just continuing on, not starting over. If this was just me doing a look, then I wouldn't have bothered starting all over. I would have just told you guys what I'd done, but it is a try-on, so I wanted you guys to actually see me apply the makeup. That's the whole point of it being a try-on and you guys being able to see it. Unfortunately, everything past the brows is not going to be a first impression because I did go ahead and wash my face and I reapplied all the base products leading up to the brows so we could start over from that point. The easiest thing would have been to just tell you guys what I'd done up until that point, but like I said, I really wanted to try the products on. And so we're going to be moving into bronzer now. The shade that I got, this is a Stay Golden Cream Bronzer, and I did mention the first time around that I do appreciate the fact that it's in a smaller container. It's not in the giant container like Chanel with that giant tub or like the giant compact from Charlotte Tilbury, which you will never get through. I do appreciate the smaller container. This shade, however, is just a little bit too light for me. I needed to go a little bit deeper. I do want to show you what the shade looks like just so you can see. You can see it and it is pretty. It blends out like a freaking dream. It's just a little bit too light for me. I need to go a little bit deeper. So what I did when I applied it the first time, when I realized, I wasn't recording, I went in with my Summer Heat Cream Bronzer. This is from BH Cosmetics. This shade is a little bit too deep. And so I just took my brush. This is the F15 or F13 from AOA Studio. This is the brush that I love to use to apply cream blushes, cream bronzers, things like that. And I took it, tapped into this one, and then just lightly tapped in to this one, and then blended the two together. And the two together, as you can see, are a good match. Like I mentioned, the first time that I applied this, what I'm going to do is just continue to just combine these two products together because they do work well together. But if I do make another Moira order in the future, I am going to go with the deeper shade of bronzer and then just pass this one to my daughter. Right now, though, these two together work really well. Moving into blush, again, I didn't pick up a new formula. This one I have actually used before as far as the formula. This is the Signature Ombre Blush Formula. This shade is in Mellow Pink. I considered getting another one of the cream blushes, and they also have some liquid blushes, but I don't know, I just really wanted to pick up another shade of this one if I can open it. I just thought this was such a pretty, just soft pink shade, and because it is an ombre formula, it goes from deep to lighter. I'm over here like furiously checking to make sure that I'm actually recording this time. Took my LA Studio brush that we're going to use. This is the F12. Just a very soft, fluffy blush. I went into the deepest part here and then just started to softly tap. And as you can see, guys, it really is a beautiful formula. This is such a soft, blendable, silky blush. The only thing that I did notice when I applied it the first time is that it's definitely more pink. I thought it was a little bit more peachy, but it's beautiful. I really have absolutely no complaints. And I'm seriously considering going back on the website and picking up a couple more shades of this specific formula and maybe going ahead and grabbing the bronzer too. Seriously considering that. For highlighter, this is a new release, and this is the Dream Light highlighter. I got it in Lovestruck number 5. I did swatch it the first time. I'm going to go ahead and swatch it again for you. The formula is like super, super silky. It feels so nice. And that is what our shade is looking like. It's like a peachy pink champagne gold kind of a shift to it. It's very pretty. Now applied, and I did use my Chic Pro brush. I got this from Five Below. Just lightly dabbed into it. And it's very pretty. It's very shiny. It feels extremely silky, but it is like slightly glittery on the skin. They're like super, super micro fine micro glitters in there, and so it does add just a little bit of texture to my cheek. I generally like something a little bit smoother, but it is really, really pretty. Like I said, it feels super silky going onto the skin. I'm going to go back in with my blush brush. I just like to kind of make sure everything is smoothed in and blended in together. Now, what I'm going to do differently this time than I did the first time that, I was doing this is I'm going to apply the setting spray now. The first time I did it after the base products and the bronzer, but I did it before the blush and highlighter, so I'm going to apply it after everything now. This is the Timeless Setting Power Lasting Matte Finish Setting Spray. I think there are like 4 different formulas on there. There was an oil control specific setting spray that I almost got, but I did have to show a little bit of restraint, so I went with this one. They also have a more dewy hydrating one as well, so if you have like normal to dry skin, they do have a dewier, more hydrating option that you can check out. Me being an oily skin girl, I went with the matte. And this one does have a nice fine mist. I love a spray with a fine mister. See? Very fine mist. So I'm going to go ahead and spray my face again. It has a nice fresh scent as well. So I'm going to let this go ahead and dry down, and it does dry down to a nice matte finish, but it's not like super drying. It's not like an alcohol-based setting spray that could just feel like it just sucked all the moisture out of your face. It just leaves a very soft matte finish. So once this dries down, I'm going to come back, and then we're going to go ahead and move back into the eye look again. Moving back into the eye look, I did not get an eyeshadow primer. I'm just going to use the one from ColourPop. This is the Party Proof. One thing I did mention when I was doing the last application, and I do want to mention it again, today is December 9th, but I think it's like day 12, day 11 or day 12 in the actual schedule as far as the videos going up. Tomorrow is December 10th. It's my daughter's birthday. She is going to be 19 years old, and I am still just in awe of that entire situation. Time is definitely getting away from me, but I am so amazed and just so proud of the young woman that she has become. She has become such an amazing person, and I'm just so excited to see her grow up, but at the same time, man, time is getting away from me. I keep checking my little timer counter thing to make sure that I'm actually recording, because it would be very sad and heartbreaking if I did it again and wasn't recording again. All right, moving into the eye look. Like I mentioned in the very beginning of the video, I didn't pick up another eyeshadow palette. There wasn't anything that was really standing out to me, so we're just going to use this one. This is a palette that I picked up the last time that I did a Moira order, and this is the Time to Shine Celestial Series palette. The box, the packaging for this is just so super cute that I kept the whole thing. So this is the box, and then you open it, and there are like wings right here that cover the actual palette itself. I just think that it's just so freaking cute, and the palette sits in the inside of the box. I'm going to mention the same thing that I did the first time around, and that's that I don't like the fact that it's a box. The packaging is very bulky, which is one of the reasons why I never picked up another palette from this series. They just take up a lot of space, but the formula is really nice. and the actual color story is pretty. Now this is going to make a really pretty just holiday themed look, so I'm going to go back in the with the look that I was originally doing before. We're going to go with Carefree on the outer corner, and then we're going to take Spotlight into the crease, and then I'm going to go in with one of the golds. At this point, the only thing that I had done was the mattes, but let's pick up with that. Going into Spotlight, I'm going to use my Real Techniques crease brush. When I did this the first time, guys, I swear to God, I could not remember what this particular brush was called as far as the actual brand name. I went completely blank, but it is the Real Techniques. And we're just going to go in to the crease and just blend it out. I also thought this was more of a red, but it's actually like a bricky brown. So it's going to blend into that green really, really well. One of the things I just really love about these shadows, they're so buttery, they're so silky, they're so smooth, and they just blend like a dream. Using my Beauty Bay Detail eyeshadow brush, we're going to go into Carefree, which is a soft green, and I'm going to lay that on the outer corner. This formula is just so silky and buttery smooth. You see how easily that's blending out? And it's blending into that kind of a bricky red brown pretty well too. The shades aren't getting like super muddy, which I like. I'm going to go back in with just a little bit more Spotlight. I just want to kind of blend a little bit across the top. Before we go into my shimmers, I'm going to lay down a little bit of my BH Cosmetics Base Booster. This is a glitter and shadow glue. It's very similar to the NYX glitter base. I have that one too, but I'm trying to use this one up, so that's why we were using it. And I'm just going to kind of carve where I want the shadows to lay. And this is a double-ended brush from BH Cosmetics. I want something like very glitzy gold, but like both of these shades are a little bit dark. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Spice and I'm going to mix it into Flash. Kind of do a little bit of both just to kind of maybe brighten the gold up a little bit. Just to make it a little more glitzy and a little more shiny. Yeah, there we go. That is what I want. The gold, but with a little bit more of a glitzy shine. Do you see how super shiny? I mean, that truly is celestial. Wow, that is beautiful. I don't know if I ever used that shade in this palette before. To finish off everything, I'm just going to go back in to Spice just by itself for my inner corner highlight. You guys, I have got to bring this palette out more often. Look at that. Moving into my Waterline, I picked up 2 shades of their Supernova Multichrome gel liners. You guys, on the website, these are freaking stunning, and they have an entire line that you can buy all of them together in a group if you want to. They're only $6 each, and I really wanted to get them all. I wanted to get every single one of them. They were so pretty. I grabbed these 2 specifically because I am wanting another kind of gold liner as well as a brighter green. The more gold orange shifty one, this one is Nova, and the kind of yellow lime shifty one, that one is Phoenix. I think for this look I'm gonna go with Phoenix, but I do want to swatch these 2 real quick. Hopefully they are as creamy as I'm hoping they are. Oh my god, look at that. Look at that packaging. Wow, there is like a little smudger on the inside too, on the end of it. Wow, I don't know if you can see that, but even on the tip you can kind of see that it's shifty. There's like a blue to yellow. Oh, wow. Let's see what this looks like in a swatch. They are super, super creamy. Extremely creamy. Okay, so this one is Nova. Can you see that? There is definitely a green to gold to orange. Oh my word. Like when I turn my hand, I'm definitely seeing it in person. I'm hoping that you guys can see it on camera. That is amazing. And then we have Phoenix. Just look at that packaging. Let's see what this one looks like. Oh, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Look at that. The one on the top. Oh, I hope you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. It's like a green to gold to blue. Oh, my God. Oh, that is stunning. I think you can see that. I think it's catching. That is insane. Like I said, we're going to go with the Phoenix. Let me flip my mirror. Need the magnifying end. Hopefully I'm not scaring you guys by getting too close. But let's see. Super, super creamy. Alright, so in the Waterline, I'm not really seeing the same shift that I'm seeing in the swatch, but it is still pretty. It's very wet looking. very metallic. I can kind of catch a little bit of that blue to green on the outside. It's just not quite as intense as it is in the swatch. The very last thing that I picked up in this order, I did pick up a lip pencil. Like I said, I've been trying to find the perfect like peachy nude. I'll go ahead and talk about the lip pencil real quick. The shade is a natural tan, so it's kind of nude. I don't know, in person this looks like it might be a little light, but I am going to try it. The first thing that I'm going to do is the liquid eyeliner that I picked up. And this is the Micro Tip Liquid Eyeliner, waterproof, and it has a brush tip. I have hooded eyelids, and the skin around my eyelids is a little bit looser, so I need a brush tip, or not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily have to be a brush tip, but it has to be something that glides and I can just, quickly like flick it to get that wing. If I have to put too much work into it, it gets really, really messy. And I do need my close-up mirror for this. I'm quite blind. If I try to do this with just that mirror, I can't see anything. But the tip is definitely super, super micro fine. Can you see that? Let's see how well it applies. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Oh, that is okay. That's definitely a brush tip. I am having to kind of go back over it with the liner a little bit. It's not just really just going on smooth, so that's a con. Let's see what the wing looks like. All right, as far as the wing, it did glide on really well. I am impressed where that's concerned. I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to throw on some lashes. Moira does make lashes, but none of them are really standing out to me. So I am just going to apply these from Ioni. These are the Las Vegas style. They look really pretty, 100% handmade faux mink lashes. I'm going to throw these on, and then when we come back, we'll try on the lip pencil, and that's going to be it. That will be everything that I picked up in this order. Now for the lip liner, and once again, this is the must-have lip liner in Natural Sand. Like I said, I've been looking for the perfect like peachy nude lip liner, but this definitely looks like it's going to be too light. It also looks like it's going to be a little bit too cool, but let's see what it looks like on. You can see it. It is showing up, but yeah, it's just a little bit too light. I only pay like $3 for this, so it's not a big deal. I'll just pass this one on to my daughter, and the search for the perfect peachy nude still goes on. I realized right after I applied my lipstick, and by the way, this is the Milan shade from ColourPop. It's just a really pretty kind of a pink brown nude. I didn't have the lights on in the background. I used my vanity lights as my backlighting. I don't know how long they were off. They may have been off the entire time that I was actually, re-recording the rest of the segments, but I don't think it made that big of a difference. I think everything still looked good anyway. But let's go ahead and talk about the products that I loved and some of the ones that were okay, but not necessarily like, the biggest hits in this video. Starting with the lip pencil, which we did end with. There's nothing wrong with the formula. The formula itself is fine. It goes on super creamy. I didn't have a problem with that. It's just a little bit too light for me. Not the fault of the pencil. I just picked the wrong shade. All of the complexion products, I absolutely love those. The Complete Facial Mattifying Primer and the Pore Vanishing Primer, both of these are absolutely beautiful. They mixed well together. I like to layer up my primers, and these layered up very well together. I also really loved the foundation. This is the Complete Wear Soft Matte Foundation, and I actually picked it in the right shade this time. This is beautiful. Definitely for someone who has combination oily skin. If your skin is more on the dry side, it's not for you. The concealer was also really pretty. This is the Lavish Creamy Concealer, blended in beautifully. I think it gives me really nice coverage. I didn't set my under eyes with powder. I just have the concealer, and it looks so freaking pretty. All the complexion products went well together and just look so beautiful. The setting powder, the loose setting powder in translucent, oh my god, this melted into the skin. Soft, blurring. I loved the setting powder, the setting spray as well. We'll have to see how well it wears like for the long run, for an extended amount of time, but so far I am so happy with all of the complexion products. The brow product. This was beautiful too. This is the 1.5 milliliter Precision Brow Pencil, and this shade is in Espresso. I love a micro pencil because it really helps me like shape my brows. Once again, gels, waxes, and I'm not into that kind of a product, but the pencil was really beautiful too. Like I mentioned, I have used the Ombre blushes before. This is just a new shade, and the shade is in Mellow Pink, and it's absolutely stunning. I like the highlighter as well. This one is not a love. Once again, this is the Dream Light highlighter in Love Struck. The shade is really pretty. It has a really pretty shift, but if I don't drop it. It's slightly glittery, so it does look a little textury on the cheek. I like something that's a little bit smoother. The cream bronzer blended out beautifully. I just happened to get it a little bit too light, so I mixed it in with my Summer Heat cream bronzer from Beauty Bay, and these work well together. The only kind of misses for me were the Multichrome gel liners and then the micro tip liquid liner. As far as the Multichrome liners, they're super creamy in a swatch. They had that really pretty shift, like they looked really good, but on the waterline, like when I actually applied, you're just not really seeing the same shift that you're seeing in the swatches. It's the only thing that I'm not liking. I wish you were seeing the same shift in, you know, the actual application as you do in the swatches. And then as far as the micro tip liner, it glided really well when it came to creating the wing, but as far as like applying it along the lash line, it did skip and I kind of had to go over it a couple of times. That part I didn't like, so for that, this is just not a love. Well, that is going to be it for this video. That was a long one. Hopefully not too long, and hopefully I can kind of edit it down to like a manageable length and it's not like too crazy long. I hate the fact that I had to go back and re-record, you know, part of the video, but I did want you guys to actually see the products tried on, so it was worth it to me. If you enjoyed it and you found it helpful, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up. It really does help with getting my videos into recommendations. If you're new to the channel and you're not already subscribed, I would love it if you consider joining my little family and hitting subscribe, and make sure you tap the bell so you don't miss a thing. And you can also follow me on my other socials. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Be safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.